Hey y'all, I'm your host, Aaron Smith of the Offshore Marine Service Association. Each Friday, I'll bring you the Offshore Briefing, a quick rundown of the week's notable developments, updates, and news you need to know in the offshore space. Whether you're on deck or at your desk, we're glad you're here.
Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of Maritime in America, the Offshore Briefing. I, as always, am your host, Aaron Smith. And as always, I have with me my co-host, Angel Johnson and Ashley Smith. How are y'all doing?
Good. We missed everyone last
well.
week.
Yes, excited that it's almost Friday, or
Yeah.
that it is Friday.
It'll be Friday.
Yeah. No, we did not record last week, but was really glad we dropped a great episode this week with John McCowan. Just
Yes.
absolutely great and full of hard-hitting stats and statistics about just how ineffective the Jones Act waiver is.
He makes, I always am fascinated by your knowledge, extensive knowledge to the maritime industry. And don't tell anyone I said that about Aaron. But hearing him was mind blowing, literally mind blowing. He's just so smart. And I love that he likes data. Like he needs numbers and he needs percentages and that was just really fascinating to me. So we definitely need to have a follow up with him on that, on everything. I feel like we didn't even like scratch the surface of all the stuff we could talk about.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the episode to a lot of Ashley's points.
Yeah, I've really appreciated John, and I love getting to work with them. I don't get to work with them a lot, but when I do, it's always enjoyable. And so it was great to have him on, and it was perfectly timed. So I really appreciate him coming. I hope everyone, if you haven't listened to it yet, please go back and hit it.
Yeah, and to AMSA members, I will be sending that out in Friday Fast Facts. Everyone gets a twofer this week, a Monday Fast Facts and a Friday Fast Facts.
Yep. So, kind of going to what, John was talking about, how ineffective the Jones Act waiver has been and is. I'm up in DC today. And we've been having some meetings, some great meetings on the Hill, and to have a ton of support for our position. And the waiver does not have a lot of support. But I did see that there was one group that was supporting the waiver, and it was announced yesterday that Americans for Prosperity today launched a six-figure digital campaign calling on Congress to permanently repeal the Jones Act. And what they say, and this is their quote, is, "For more than a century, Washington has forced families to pay a hidden tax every time goods move between our own ports. And it is way past time to put an end to this failed regulation that has decimated the industry it was intended to help. You cannot claim to care about the cost of living while defending a law that you have to suspend every time families need relief. Our message is simple. With a single vote, Congress can lower costs for every household in the country. It's time to repeal the Jones Act." So I just think, one, Americans for Prosperity is one of the more disingenuous groups that's out there. At first, I want to point out, look.
No shit. That whole statement made my eye roll. I don't know if y'all could feel my eyes rolling as you were talking.
Yes, but look, I want to say this. It says in their entire point, Congress can lower costs for every household in the country by repealing the Jones Act. But if you go to, they also released a myth versus fact resource. And on their myth versus fact resource, one of the myth, according to them, the Jones Act waiver has failed because gas prices remain high. Fact, a temporary shipping waiver was never going to reverse a wartime energy shock. So wait, you just said that we need to repeal the Jones Act to lower costs for Americans. Now you're saying the Jones Act waiver hasn't lowered cost. Which is it, you two-faced bastards? Which is it? Is it lowering cost or not lowering costs? I don't know which it is because you're saying both.
Also, while we were just talking, I Googled this, or I didn't Google, I looked up the CEO of Americans for Prosperity, Emily Seidel. I looked up her salary. In 2022, she made $839,745, and that's just her salary. Yes. Americans for Prosperity that's what you're looking. That's how much she makes, or made in 2022. I can't imagine what it is in 2024.
Well, I want to say that, Americans for Prosperity says its mission statement is to mobilize citizens to advocate for policies that cut red tape and increase opportunity, put the brakes on government overspending, and get the economy working for hard workers, not special interests. That is a hilarious statement because, one, what
They
you're
are special
talking,
interests.
they're entirely funded by the Koch brothers. Well, not the Koch brothers. One of them died, so the Koch brother, singular. It's entirely funded by the Koch brothers and the Koch companies. And what do the Koch companies do? Well, the Koch companies, by and large, refine petroleum products and move them around the country. That's what they do. So what they're trying to do, while they say they're advocating against special interests, what they are actually doing is trying to lower their transportation costs and pocket the difference so that they can become even richer and get even more billions than what they already have. That's what they're trying to do.
And I'm happy you brought up that point, Aaron, because it's often said that, if we're able to pay less for the shipping, then that gives the Americans more money. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can, like you
No.
said, just pocket that.
Yes.
And look, that is what is happening right now. Is in almost every case, there has been Jones Act vessels available, and they are choosing foreign vessels for the simple purpose of they can increase their profit margin, and they just pocket that extra.
Yes.
What they are
Like all
also
big
doing,
corporations.
even when the prices are the same right now, shippers are choosing these foreign vessels because what they're trying to do is drive out the U.S. market. They're trying to kill it, and then they will be able to completely control it. That's what they're doing. They are choosing. They would rather have a foreign flag vessel that's the same cost right now, so they can kill off U.S. vessels, and then we will be wholly dependent upon foreign vessels. That's what they want to do. They don't, and I think it's very telling that Americans for Prosperity is coming out in support of this, because there is no one that believes in a more big business, the rich get richer at the expense of regular Americans than Americans for Prosperity. I mean, look at these people. These are the people who have said that we should completely open up the visa programs to allow entirely use of foreign nationals on visas for every high-skilled job, not even low-skilled jobs, high-skilled jobs. These are the people who say we need to get rid of the flood insurance program. And if people lose their houses, oh well. This is who we're talking about here.
That's really frightening and depressing all in one.
Yeah. And look, it's what we were saying is, I saw a great quote, and it was their quote, there are very limited areas of distribution that can benefit from the Jones Act waivers. And as a result, the maximum benefit, if any, could be a reduction in the U.S. average gasoline prices by about $0 and 0.0027 cents. So a fraction of a penny is what can be saved per gallon. That's nothing. That's what we're having. But as the trade-off, currently, of the 18 unique Chinese-built vessels that have utilized the waiver currently, 10 of them were constructed in shipyards operated by the Chinese State Shipbuilding Corporation that are directly and actively engaged in the construction of warships for the People's Liberation Army Navy. The plan that includes surface combatants like destroyers, frigates, corvettes, and amphibious assault vessels, and aircraft carriers. That's who's benefiting. Chinese shipyards are benefiting from this waiver.
When I read about that, my mind was blown.
That is what that's what the Koch brothers wants. Is they want low cost foreign national mariners and Chinese ships. That's what they want. I disagree. And look, be honest. If you think that foreign nationals making less than U.S. minimum wage should work in the United States, just come out and say that. Don't say, "Oh, we should waive Jones Act, just say, hey, I support having people making $3.10 an hour being used in the United States. Just say that. That's all they have to say. And if they said that, I wouldn't call them disingenuous.
Yeah. I will say, to turn it around and be positive, because y'all know I like to be penny positive. At least this waiver situation, and that's the best use of words I can say to describe it, has caused everyone to come out and support, like, SCA, AMSA, AWL, like we're all getting together, right? It's also bringing to light what we have been fighting for and talking about for at least 13 years. I know more, but I'm just saying I've been with AMSA. Oh, I've been with AMSA almost 14 years. It's all that is fine. Like we're having honest conversations about it, or at least bringing it to light. Like you can't hide from it anymore because everyone's talking about it.
It
And
is.
so you either like just own up to it, or I mean, like you can't still skirt around anymore because it is in your face. You either own up to it, or like one way or the other. That is at least what I have seen in the past. However long. How long has it been since
No,
February?
I do. I know. No. Since March.
March.
Um, I do know what you mean by that. I equate my time this week up in DC to, that meme where it's two people being hanged and the guy goes, "Is this your first time?" And the other guy's like, "No, this is not my first time."
Yeah.
That's kind of the place we have been. We have faced Jones Act waivers for more than 50 years in the offshore industry. They're just called CBP letter rulings.
Yeah.
And, and so we have, the
So
rest of
I've
the industry.
enjoyed having it's like when I'm sitting in a room and I can talk about this better than some other people that have a, higher title than me. It's like, wow, I actually know what I'm talking about because we've been doing it and I've been hearing about it for so long. Even my mom.
Exactly. Yeah. We're right there, and we've been just, this is the life we have lived since 1976 has been with foreign vessels coming in and doing work that we have vessels that could be doing and should be doing, but it goes to foreign vessels because they can use people that make $3.10 an hour. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And look, I continue to say this. I'm not going to apologize for the U.S. maritime industry paying good wages to Americans. I don't think any of us should have to apologize that we provide good family supporting careers. And if people disagree with that, if people say that, oh, U.S. mariners should make too much money, they should make less, just come out and say that.
Agreed. And I was gonna talk about something, but I don't want to anymore because I want to end on how positive this conversation and mind blowing this conversation is. Or we could talk about the World Cup right now and how much I've enjoyed following that guy, Freddie LA7, and as he goes to all the stadiums. Like, okay,
Freddie
that's the one time I'm like golf clapping, being like, yes, Europeans, come on over here. I mean, it's amazing.
Freddie is living his best life, and he is just discovering America with wide-eyed, childlike glory. Yes.
My favorite was him at Buc-ee's because I also am a Buc-ee aficionado.
Speaking of sports, have y'all been watching the basketball? Who are y'all going for?
No, I woke up to all of it this morning.
You haven't? Oh, it was biggest comeback in our NBA finals history. Now, whether that was engineered by either the NBA to make for a good series,
yes,
or by
it was 100%, and that's why Taylor Swift was on the court,
or by gamblers. I don't know, but I'll believe both.
Yeah, I believe both as well. Alrighty,
Yeah.
You can end it, Aaron.
Well, I thank everyone for tuning in. If you like what you hear, or if you've seen this and someone's forwarding to you,
or if you don't like, we don't care.
Yeah. Or if you work for Americans for Prosperity and probably spent high school getting shoved into a locker,
Aaron,
please like, share, and
getting
subscribe.
Shoved into a locker.
Yeah, I was as tall as I was
for
now
YouTube
when I was.
Ads. I'm tired of seeing them.
Wait, what?
Stop.
The American Prosperity, I always see their ads on YouTube. I would like it to stop.
Yeah. Well, it's all in that. Yeah, stop. I won't say what I think of their ad campaign. Yeah. So, well, everyone, have a good day. Hope you have a good weekend. Be safe.
Happy
Have
Friday.
a good one.
That wraps up another episode of Maritime in America. We're proud to highlight the voices and stories that keep the American offshore industry strong. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and remember, the course ahead is shaped by those who step up and steer it. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Tune in every Friday for your offshore briefing, and don't miss our next full episode, dropping soon with a very special guest, Mariner's Perspective. Catch you next time.